Hi everyone, welcome to my Excel tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to create this little application in Excel. It is dynamic and we are going to do this without using the VBA. If you look at what we have right here, it's actually a project management. We are trying to use this to manage our projects in the office. Now let's see what we have right here before we go further. So now out of 10 projects right now, we only have 20% of the project being completed. So right now if I actually come down right here and actually mark this one to be completed, what I have is actually going to change. 30% of it is being completed. Every single time we complete a new project, we have that particular bar actually move again over and over. I'm going to show you how to create something very nice like this. Before we go further, we have pending projects to be 6, we have total projects that is completed to be 4, and we have total project to be 10, and the project due that is not really accomplished is actually 3. How do we know all this? How can we get all this? We are going to use some pretty good function that you might not know how to use, or you don't really know how to make manipulation with those kind of functions. I'm going to show you how to do that. So right now what we have right here is the starting date of the project, and we have this project 1 right here to actually last for 6 days before we really finish the project up. So we want to track how many days is left, how many days is left to finish this project. So right now if you see what we have right here, we have project overdue by 2 days. So why 2 days? So what we try to do actually right here is this: we actually try to use these very days of the project to turn it into a date. Which particular date of the month are we going to finish this project? So which is going to be on 26, and the current date we are using right now is actually 28th. So what we actually did was actually using a date function to actually add the 6 days. It gives us 26 days. Don't worry, when we start the project right from the scratch, you would definitely understand what is going on. So right now every single time we complete a project, we have this smile face on it, and if a project is completed and it is not actually marked as 1 right here, we have it cancelled with this particular mark, and it counts itself automatically right here that this project is actually overdue but not really accomplished. If we later accomplished it and actually come and change it to 1 right now, what you see right here is this one is going to be 3, and while this one is going to be 4. Now let's try that. Can you see that we have 4 and we have 3 right here, which means this one has moved away from here down to here to become a completed project. Let us see how we can actually do this in action. So already I have a sheet right here for you that is actually empty. So what we need to do right now, we have the random date being chosen right here to be this date, and we want to see how many days will it take us to complete this particular project right here. So we have a lot of supporting column that we're going to actually hide later, just to make sure we have a dynamic chart, dynamic project. Okay, fine. Now what we need to do right now is just to add the days. I'm going to add 1 4 days. I'm going to add 365, which is almost a year. I'm going to add 4 59. I'm going to add just random number. Exactly. This is exactly what I need. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is this, to make you understand better right now. So we're trying to see which of those ones are being accomplished and which of those particular projects are not really accomplished. So now we are going to mark it by 1 or 2. So how do I get it right here? Let me show you how to actually get 1 or 0 right here to actually make it dynamic, just like we're using VBA. So right now, if you want to actually know how to get this, what you need to do is just to actually have your cursor on the cell you really want to actually have these values in to actually choose it dynamically. So you need to go to data. So from data, what you need to do is just to click on data validation, and right here we don't need to actually take anything from the cell. So all you need to do is just to type your 1 and hit comma, you type your 0. So if you don't hit comma, it's going to actually be on one single it's going to be everything together. So right now it's separated, so now you have it. So now if I click on it right now, here you go, I have something like this. If I click on it, I have a drop down just like this. Now we have actually done this. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is this: expected completion date from project days is what we need to extract. So how do we do that? So before I do that, I'm going to use a date call today function right here, This is what is going to actually help us to actually subtract and add to the date. So how do we really mean about this? I'm going to actually have to hit this one right now. This is the current day. Today is 20 or 12 or the 12th month of the year 2020 right here. So right now we actually want to get how many days, how if we actually use today's date and add one to it, how many days will it give us? When will we finish our project? So I'm gonna actually have to use today's function right here. So I'm gonna actually have to close this. I'm gonna say plus this particular day we have right here. So because we are having a table, it's gonna actually autofill itself automatically. I'm gonna hit enter. Here is what we have. Can you see that? Now we are going to finish this project on 21st of the month, which is gonna be tomorrow, which is today's 20, and the project is going to get to finish on 21st of the month. And if you come down right here, this project is going to be 360. We're going to finish this project on 15th of 2021, which means we have almost a year to have this project finished, right? So you can see which project is okay. The project we're going to finish that of 2021 is actually project 4. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is, after I've gotten all this, what I'm going to do is just to see supported column is right here, but I'm going to need this later, so I'm going to have to extract the days right here as well. So the outstanding days is going to be this particular date right here. I'm going to actually minus this from what I have right here, but you see, if I hit enter, I'm going to have something very weird. It's not really okay. Why? Well, because this, if I actually take my cursor right here and place this right here, this is actually moving down, and you can see it's weird. So what I need to do is now is actually have my cursor right here and actually click on this and have to lock this top one right down, because I don't want it to actually move from there. It has to be very static right there. So exactly, so if I now hit enter, I have it correct, but this is not what I want. It's on date format. I'm going to highlight everything and click on this and actually, go to home, and from date I'm going to take it to January, or I'm going to take it to number. Now here we go. We have one day for this project to actually get expired. So now the reason why I'm going to have this right here, because it still looks some kind of the same thing, is because of the dynamism we're talking about. We want this project to be very dynamic automatically every single day, even though if we don't open our worksheet, it changes as the time changes as well. It's going to change along with the times. That is why we have formula right here to actually help us to treat that. But right here we're having it very static, but with this you get it kind of dynamic. So the next thing we're going to do right now is to see the outstanding days. So the outstanding days is going to look similar to this, but this is not what you're thinking. So let me just get you something right here. I'm going to say if. So now let's see how to use if you've not used if before, or if you don't really understand how to use if and I'm going to teach you how to actually use all those together in your project. Now I'm going to say if this particular one right here, if this particular date right here is less than or equal to this date, so what is going to happen? I'm going to say comma. So I'm going to actually say okay, project date elapses. So project date elapses, and I'm gonna actually I'm gonna say by. So right now I'm gonna have to concatenate it with the date we have right here by one day if it has elapses. So right now what I need to do right now is just to actually close the concatenation, and I'm gonna have to put my day right here. So now I'm gonna open bracket and have else. I believe you understand why I'm having this right now. So I'm gonna close this. So if that is false, I'm gonna want to have this, and I'm gonna have to close this right now and hit enter. Now let us understand what is going on right here. So right here is this is the current date, right? This is the current date, 20 of the month of year 2020, and right now this is what this project is going to last for one day. This project 1 is going to last for one day, and that one day is going to be tomorrow. So tomorrow is not yet here. For now we have outstanding day still be one to just one day, and this one is actually on 23 of what of this particular month. So if you look at right here, the outstanding days is actually 3. So now it's not really as well correct. So now what are we having? We're having rubbish right here. So that what I'm trying to actually let you know before you actually go for that, should you actually create your project, is always to actually check if you like yourself to know to actually help you get this done. So you need to actually check, why is this actually happening? So can you see that it's actually moving? We've not locked our cell right here, so we need to lock this cell because we don't want to move. If not, it's going to give us some kind of weird answer. So now I'm going to actually click right here and actually do the same thing I've done before. So you need to understand your reference so seriously. I'm going to hit enter right now. Now I have all this to be outstanding. So because we are using direct date right here, then we can't change from now to tomorrow. So we want to see how we can actually get this dynamically changed, to see if we change it to a date that is going to be after today, what is going to happen in the next few days to come. I'm going to copy this and actually right click and actually paste the value right here. So now that I've done this right now, what if I change this to 30? What is going to happen? Let me change the day to 30. Hit enter. So right now, can you see? Now I've changed the day to 30. What just happened? I have this particular project to be overdue for over 9 days. This one to be over 7, 3, 4, 6, 4, 4, 3, 5 days. They've been overdue. So the only project I don't have overdue right now is these 2 projects. Now we can see from here, this is where we're going to create something amazing again. Now if I go right here and actually reduce it to something like 20, I'm gonna say 25. So right now we only have few of our project to be actually accomplished, because those ones right here, they are not yet accomplished. So we're going to be accomplishing those ones in 27th of this month, and it's just 25. I believe you get the idea of what I'm trying to actually do right here. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to see the project level. Is it accomplished or is some kind of pending? So how do we do that? It's very easy to check if the project is accomplished or on pending. So we're going to use this function called if and. If and is better. So if and, I'll show you what the difference between if and if or really is right now. Okay, fine. What I'm going to do right now, I'm going to say if and. So if this is equal to 1, now let's say that is equal to 1. I'm going to hit comma. That is my first logic. So the second logic, and this particular date right here is less than or equal to this date we have right here. Now don't forget to lock it down. So remember your references. So I'm gonna have to lock this down. So your alpha will do the magic for you ASAP. Mine is not working. Just click your alpha. You don't need to copy. So right now I've done that, so I'm gonna have to close this one. If that is true, what do I want for it? Now it's telling me if value is true. What do I want? I want to just give me accomplished. But if that is false, I want to just give me pending. You understand? So if I hit enter right now, I have it on pending. Why am I having it on pending? Because this one is 0. I've actually made it to be 0 because I want to be sure if the project has been accomplished. I want to mark it as accomplished. But if it is not really if it is not accomplished, I want to leave it on 0. I want to leave it blank. But if accomplished, if the project is actually, the date of the project has gone past but not accomplished, you don't mark it right here. It's going to give you pending right here. So let's see why we actually turn this one to 1. What do we have? We have this to be accomplished. But let's take, for example, here right now we don't have this we don't have this date right here to be we still have outstanding days of 2 days. So if we try to change this one to 1, what's going to happen? We still have this one on pending, because here this one has to be project date elapses, so meaning the project date has to be either 0 or less than 0, which is going to be in minus, right? So this is not the case right now. The only place you can have accomplishment is actually when it is like project date elapses, that the project has expired. It's exactly what you need to do. So the next thing I'm going to do right now, I want to have smiling face and cross on where we really have this project been accomplished. So how am I going to do that? I'm going to say equal to. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to still use the same if and. So right now I'm going to say if and. So the first one is actually this, equal to 1. And the second one is going to be this. I'm going to take this up, So if this is equal to accomplished, so now I'm gonna have to close the whole thing. That is the logic right there. So now if this is this, what I need to have is actually give me a smile if it is true and give me this cross sign if that is false. So if I actually hit enter right, I'm gonna have something weird like way back then. Oh, this is what I have right now. Is weird because why? If I actually place my cursor right here, they have actually moved away. They're not actually giving me what I wanted. Can you see? This is away from here. So now care about your reference. I'm gonna have to lock them down because I don't want them to move away from there. So locking them down will be very much preferable. So now here we go. If I hit enter right now, I'm gonna have something very different. Here we go. That is it. So the two places we have accomplishment, we have them to be on the smiling mode, and where we don't really have it accomplished, we're still having a pending. It has it on cross. Now if I come right here and change this to what? To 1, you can see if I come here and change this to 1, it doesn't really happen because I'm using and. So right now, what if I feel like I want to use all right now? It's not gonna work because right now if I use all, I'm trying to tell the machine that okay, if one of this has been accomplished, I want you to give me this to be true, but if none of it has been accomplished, give me false. So now let us see what all does right here. So just have your all right here. The all is gonna be here, and now once I hit enter, can you see we have where we have this one, even though it is not accomplished, it's going to give you a smiling face. Right now if I have one right here and it's not accomplished, it's going to give me a smiling face, which is very weird. So now you need to know the difference between your earned and your all. It's just like normal error from at home. You'll be like, okay, you know what, you and you should go away from here. That means you mean two of them. If you don't say you or you, which means one of them should go away from here. That is exactly normal English is what we use right here to actually get it done. So right now I'm going to use earned, which means both of them has to be met. So exactly I'm going to hit enter. Right now here is it. It defaults to something very correct. Now we want to count what? We want to count how many of our projects have been accomplished. So why don't we count from here? But we want to count that with a condition. How do we do that? I'm going to place my cursor right here and say okay, now what I need to do is going to be same if and. So now I'm going to say if and. So the first condition is going to be this is equal to 1. That is the first condition. If this is equal to 1 and this is equal to and this is equal to accomplished. So now I'm going to close this. So if that is true, what I need is 1. If it is false, I just need 0. I'm going to have to close this and hit enter. Now let's see where we have 1. So we have 1 here because it is accomplished, 1 here because it is accomplished, and we have 0 here because they are not accomplished. Down to here, not accomplished. Here we have 1 because it is really accomplished. Now let us see how can we count those of the projects that had been or that the date had been passed but it is not some kind of accomplished, which is unlike this one right now. Is the smiling face is not right here and the date of the project has gone past today, which is 25 of this month. It's the same day we have right here, right? So how am I going to get this alone? It's going to be very very tricky. So now I'm going to actually have to highlight this and just say where this one is true. I'm going to copy this away from here and I'm going to tell you why I'm going to use this right now. The reason I'm going to use this, if I want to type this in right there, every single time it changes to 4, 5, like -5, -6, -7, it will now dynamically change on what I type right here. So I have to make it very dynamic. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say okay, if and this one right here is equal to 0. So now I'm going to hit comma. So the second one is this. What I ought to say right now is it's going to be if this one right here is equal to project day elapses by -4 days. So instead of me to type it over, I'm going to use the formula I use right here to actually make it to change dynamically every single time the date right here changes, I'm going to use the formula right here. I'm going to paste it and I'm going to say close. Now I'm going to say a comma. If that is true, give me 0. If that is false, give me 1. So now here we go. So we have one all true right here, meaning this is actually false, but this is true right here because we have this project day to be to have been passed. Like this today, the project has to be marked that we've completed it today, but we've not really marked it, maybe because of any reason best known to the management, wherever, I don't know. So now it's actually like this. If I now come right here and like, oh, this project is not been accomplished yet, I'm gonna put this on 0. Now I have my 0 here, which means I have 2 projects unaccomplished. So if we go back to this very one right here, we can see the same thing. Unaccomplished project is actually 3. How 3? Let's see where it is. Now we have this project to be this one to be accomplished, but it's not marked, which means the date has elapsed by 6 days, but the project has not been completed, so it has not been marked. So the same thing happened to this. 2 days ago, this project has been passed. It has not been marked because we have not really done the project. But if we really mark it, okay, not this, really, not this, I think, okay, yeah, I'm talking about this. So if we really mark this now, this one is going to be 2, while this one is going to be 5. Let's see how that goes. Can you see that? 2 and 5, and we increase the percentage right here. So now going back to our main work right here, so we've done this. The next we're going to do right now is to see how we can actually populate this right here. So now we're not going to have any business with what is here right now, so you can actually hide this column. I'm going to say hide, so it has been hidden. So I'm going to come down this way, and right now we need to actually see total pending project. How do we know how many projects are pending? So how do we do that? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to place my cursor right here. I'm going to say count if. That is the function I'm going to use to count if. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to actually have to highlight this whole. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to hit my comma. So what do I need as what? As criteria. Here is it. What do I need as a criteria? Like, if you can watch it right here, you see it clearly. So my criteria is going to be this. I'm looking for pending, so my criteria will be pending. So I'm going to have to close this. Now you can see it right here clearly. So count if, I'm counting this particular row, and the criteria is going to be pending. If I hit enter, I have it right here. I have 8 of it already. I have forgotten it right here. It's very easy. You can actually do this. Anybody can do this. So right now I have it 8, and it appeared right here on my dashboard. So the next thing I'm going to do right now, the total completed project. How do we do that? Already I have gotten it right here. The one with 1 are the completed project, and they are with the smiling face. So we can't count the smiling face. What we need to count is actually those very 1. So I'm going to actually say, okay, the total completed project is this. So I'm going to place my cursor right there. I'm going to bring this a little bit up. So I'm going to say equal to count if. So place my cursor right here, and I'm going to say my criteria right now is going to be 1. So if I hit close and I hit enter, what do I have? I'm going to have 2, which is 2. Like, we have 2 1 right here. If I actually come right here and say, okay, this project has been completed, let me just mark it as completed. So right now I'm having 3, while the pending is actually 7 right now. That is how dynamic this could look like. So let's see how many projects do we really have. So we need to count the total project. I'm going to say equal to count A. Count A will do this for us right now because we're trying to count both numbers and what? And letters. I'm going to just highlight that. We're going to close this right now. I'm going to hit enter. So what do I have? I have 10 projects. Like, here is it. So the next thing I'm going to do is how many of our projects are due but not accomplished, because those that are due are accomplished right here, but we still have some that are due. The days had gone past, but they are not marked as being accomplished. How do we do that? So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to place my cursor right here, still use the same count if, and now here we go. I'm going to highlight this whole range. So I'm going to say those one with 0 are the non-accomplished one. So if I hit enter, I only have 1 of it. So now let's see how we can actually work with this to see, okay, if like we don't have to, okay, we've not achieved this, we're gonna mark it 0. So now I'm gonna have 2, I'm gonna have 2 right here. You need to understand that the reason why we're having 2 in total completed project was because we have this smiling face right here, and it is marked accomplished, and it is 1 right here. So we have the smiling face right here, it is accomplished, and it is marked 1 here. And as well, the project date elapses is actually 1 day ago. This is how cool this could be. How cool this could be. Yeah, you might not be having a similar project like just like what we have right here, but the idea of what we've used right here can actually help you to do better when it comes to writing functions or writing formulas to actually do your project or create a dashboard or whatever. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is for we to actually build this chart that always shows us every single time we actually add a project being completed, it shows us some percentage. Now 60%. If I actually add this, it's going to be give me 70%, I presume. Now 70%. How do we build such a bar chart that is going to actually help us to do some amazing cool job? So right now, here we go. So the next thing I'm going to do right now, I'm going to click right here and say, okay, what is the percentage of what? Of the completed project. I'm going to say this and open my bracket right now. To find the percentage, I'm going to say the total project minus it from what? Subtract it from the pending project. And you have it closed and divided by what? You're going to divide it by the total project again. So it has been pre-formatted as percentage. If I hit enter, here is it. I have 20% of my project being completed. So right now we want to create that chart. So I'm going to be having that supporting percentage stuff like that. 100% of it is on that chart. So I'm going to hit enter. So right now this is what I have. Now to create the kind of chart I really want right now, I am going to highlight these two together and start creating that dynamic chart. So you need to watch me do it. So right now I'm going to click on insert, and I'm going to hit right here and actually go to this bar chart right here. So now this time around I don't really need this, and I don't need this grid line right here. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to double click on this. I'm going to take this away right to here. I'm going to actually have to make sure I maximize it to make sure you can see it better. So right now I'm going to right click and actually select this select data, and I'm going to actually make sure I switch row and column. So exactly, okay, switch it again. So exactly this is what I have. So if I actually go and hit OK, so I've just have something like this, right? So the next thing I'm going to do is for me to overlap this. Now that I've overlapped this very one we want to be at the top is actually down. How do we bring this up? So go and right click again and select data, and you have to bring this up by actually clicking on this. Here you have it. I'm going to say OK. So now that we've gotten something like this, if you wanted to actually start from 0 to 100, so how do we do this? You have to click on this and actually come right here on this axis option, and you need to hit on this axis option right here and make sure you reset this to what? To 0. Then hit enter, and you have this one to be 1, which is 1.5, and hit enter. Exactly. So we have from 0 to 100 right now. So we can now remove this as we don't need it any longer. Here you go, we take it off. So if I click on this right now, what I'm going to do is just for me to make sure I have it on a full level. So I'm going to actually have to do this now. So before I change the color to something else, let me just leave it to this color and do what I really want right here. I'm going to click right here and actually click on this plus sign, and I want to have my data label on it, and where I want to have this data label is the inside base. Exactly, this is what I want. So I'm going to actually click on it and make sure I make it bold, and I'm going to have this in white color. So white color, I'm going to have it bolder than this. Exactly, I'm going to have it more bolder. So now I have something cool like this. So every single time I try to like, okay, now we want to actually make sure that this project gets completed. As we've actually completed it, we want to mark it completed. So it's going to add to my percentage right now. Automatically I have 30% of it. So right now, if I still mark this one as what? If I mark this one as completed project, so what I'm going to have is and percentage being added. So now I have 40% of my project being completed, and the remaining 60% are actually pending. This is awesome. You need to actually know how to do this. So right now we don't have any project overdue and not accomplished, but every single time we'll make sure that okay, this is going to be in 0. So now we have one project overdue and not accomplished. So you can watch this over and over again to understand what I'm trying to do right here. So the next thing I'm going to do right now, I'm going to have to remove this. So now if you look at my this variable right here, it has a very cool color and this very red on it. How do I have this? I don't really know. I don't know. Okay, I know. I'm going to show you how to do this. So now to do that, let us add something else right here. I'm going to say this is equal to this particular very percentage right here. I'm going to hit enter. Now I have 30% right there. So now what I need to do is just for me to right click, and actually I'm going to add a new series. Select data. I'm going to add a new series, and that series name is going to be this support. I know why I put support, you understand it later. I'm going to have to take this one off, and I'm going to put my support right here, and I'm going to hit enter. So I'm going to click on OK. So right now I have my support here is on the same bar chart. I'm going to right click right here. I'm going to actually select this particular change data series type. Yeah, the change chart series type. This is what I really want. I want to take this support from cluster bar chart now to this particular scatter chart. When I hit enter, it actually automatically have it on the on the axis from on this very checked for me. I'm going to click on OK. Now here we go. Here we have it. So the next thing what I'm going to do right now is for me to actually change this to something very, very nice. So I want to have this very dot right here in the middle. So to have it in the middle, what am I going to do? I need to actually have this particular place clicked. So after I've gotten it clicked, so what am I going to do? I'm going to push this to center by actually clicking on this axis option. I'm going to have this one on 0. So we'll set it to 0. I'm going to hit enter. So I'm going to have to reset this to 0. I think I'm going to have this to be under 1.2 will be fine. 1.2. So 1.2 is not really okay. Let's see what can actually get it to actually be in the middle. I'm going to say 1.5. So 1.5 doesn't really work for it. So right now I'm going to use 0.5 will be fine. 0.5. Here we go. It's almost. So I'm going to actually have to use something different. So right now if I use 0.5 and it doesn't work that way, what if I have it to be 0.7? How does it work? So it's almost. So if I click away and see where it is, so right now it's not centralized in the middle. So if I'm using 0.7 right now, I can start to use 0.6 to see if that actually sits well on it. So now I'm going to take away the 7 and have the 6 right here, and here we go. I have it mostly on the middle. So right now I can actually remove this right now because I don't need it. Have it clicked and have it removed. I don't need this right now. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is for me to actually right click on this again and select this particular data. If I have selected, I'm going to select my support, and from support I'm going to actually click on this, and I'm going to copy this away from here. So if I have this copied away from here right now, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this and cut it off from here, and I'm going to turn this to 0.5. Sorry, 0.5. And I'm going to have to paste the one I've copied away. I'm going to have to paste it right here. So now you need to see where we have it. We have it right here. Right now the 0.5 is right here. But I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to hit OK right here. Now we need to actually make sure this is actually centralized. So which means we need to actually work on this right now. How do we work on this? We need to actually take it back. Make sure we have this particular one right here. So before we change this to 0.5, so we need to actually go right now and actually have to change this again. Click on edit and have this on what? So cut this away from here and make sure it's on 0.5, and that we are having this right here, and we hit enter. So I'm gonna hit enter. So right now the centralized did not work. So after we've changed something, it actually get affected. So I'm gonna actually click on this axis again and actually have this on what? I'm gonna have this on 5 and see what it is. So now I'm gonna have this on 1, and let me see what it is that I can actually have. So now it is not really done that way. So what I need to do is just to have this on something 3, and when we do that we cannot find it, so we use 1.5. so now 1.5 is like here. So now if we now try to use 1.4, so where do we find it? It's actually almost there. So now we're gonna think of using 1.2 to see how that goes. So this is how you treat it by and by, and you can try to like, okay, now that it's not working that way, if I use 1.1 and let's see where it lies. So it sits just like this. So we're gonna leave it this way. So what we're going to want to do right now is for we to actually remove this particular field, like no fill. I'm gonna say the border, I'm gonna say no border to it right now, and I'm gonna change this particular color right here to something very cool. I'm gonna change it to a green color like this. I love it. So this one is gonna be on a very nice color to be something just like this. So I love this color for it. So right now I'm gonna have to make sure I make it smaller than what we have right there. So something cool like this. I'm gonna take this off and I'm gonna bring this one to the top right here for now. So for now I'm gonna bring it right here. I'm gonna take this away from here. So now what are we gonna do with this dot? It's very easy. I'm gonna click at the top and I'm gonna go to insert. So from insert I'm gonna insert a shape, and the shape I want to insert right now, I'm gonna have to insert a different shape compared to what I have right there. I'm gonna insert this shape and I'm gonna make my shape just like this sign. So right now I'm gonna make my shape very tiny. So if I do that, I'm gonna bring my shape down to this level. So I'm gonna make sure what my shape is actually what I really wanted. I'm gonna size it with this and I'm gonna bring it this way. So right now I'm gonna actually have my shape right here, and I'm gonna change the color of this shape to red. So I'm gonna have to change this color of the shape to red, and right now I'm gonna copy away from here. I'm gonna click on this and I'm gonna have it pasted right inside here. So now I can actually delete this right now. So every single time we have change of percentage, like right now we want to actually reduce it by actually clicking on 0, so we have it move along with this. And if we have this right here, we have it to be no, it's gonna be bad. I'm gonna have this, so meaning 0% of what of our project is not is actually accomplished. We don't have any project accomplished yet, but every single time we have what we have a project accomplished, like here we select one and we have one, so we have 10% of the project been accomplished. If we now come right here and select this, we have another 10% of the project been accomplished. This is how awesome this could look like. So if I actually select right here right now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to hide this away from here because we don't need it. So this is what we need to do. So we don't need it at all. So I'm going to actually have to make sure I drag this down to this level and make sure it sits right here. So this is exactly what we need, and this is how we can actually create such a chart that can look amazingly on our project. So you can create it as much as you like, you know, any design you really want to have for it, any color you want to have for it. So I have some dashboard I've actually created that I've used this kind of chart in that make it very standard and very dynamic. So what we've learned here today is something you can actually implement in your own personal work, in your own office work, and just implement it just the way it's gonna actually work, right? So we've learned about if, we've learned if and we've talked about a little bit about if or and I've shown you how to use symbol. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. So I don't know, I didn't show you how to get those symbols right here. It is very easy. Just place your cursor, and when you place your cursor, all you just gotta do is just to click on insert, and here you go, you go to symbol, and you see any symbol you want to take right there, and you actually have to click, and here you go, you get it right to this particular aspect. So right now let me show you how to add more projects. So you're gonna actually add project like project 11. So once I hit enter, here is what I have. So right now I'm gonna have to put a date. Let's say I'm gonna copy this date down, and the days to complete this project is gonna be in 100 days to come. So if I hit enter, so I'm gonna say okay, this is accomplished or not. I'm not gonna talk about that right now. So I have this formula being copied down, but why am I having all this value stuff like that? So it's because the project has not been getting to this level. Right now I'm gonna have to this. Now you can see automatically I have my project be on pending, and I have the days the project will be completed to be in the next 92 days. The project will be completed, which is going to be on 30 of the third month of the year 2021. This is awesome, and now it has been added. We have 11 total project, and we have 4 pending, we have 7 completed, and we have 0 on we have 0 overdue and not accomplished or unaccomplished. So right now if we actually click on this, we're gonna have to record something on that disk, and the percentage will definitely reduce. This is how awesome this kind of Excel tutorial could be. So I believe you've learned something amazing right now. Just implement what you've learned right here in your project, and you would be great. Thank you very much. If you love this particular tutorial, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe my channel, and still call with me every single time as I upload a lot of tricks about dashboard on Excel, Power BI, and I will be coming greatly with SQL tutorial. All you just gotta do is just stay along with me, and let's do this together. Without you, there will be no me, and without me, there will be you. But I want you to be there for me every single time. Thanks for watching.